Hello and welcome to the Luv Frequency. I'm your girl Alola, and welcome to this episode about the art of the reframe. I had this wonderful friend of mine post a video of Kiki Palmer talking about the art of reframing, and I realized, I've been reframing for the last, I want to say 4 or 5 months. My therapist and I have discussed how I can reframe things into better ways and better existence. But I want to quickly play that clip of Kiki Palmer right here. Let me get that set up so I can get that played for you guys. Oops. Okay, give me a moment. Learning a new system. And I want to play this art of reframe.
Queen of a reframe, okay? It's not that I didn't get the role, it's that your movie no longer is going to be as good as it could have been. Because I'm not in it.
Yes, ma'am.
You didn't break up with me, you released me.
Yes.
From being in your wrath.
Come
and
on.
narcissism. And you can call it delusional, but I call it a reframe. And I feel like shifting the perspective always that to me is the trick. It's never, you're not going to always be able to change the outcome, but you can always change how you looked at it.
How you?
Okay. So the art of the reframe. And I just love this. I love the fact that my girlfriend posted this and it was like, it resonated. I said, can you send me the whole link to this video? Because I need to talk about the art of the reframe and being a queen or king of reframe. And I love the idea of taking something negative and making it into a positive, of taking something that you experience and being able to look at it from a different lens, from a different angle, from a different view. And even in my own personal experiences, there's things that have happened in the last 3 days that I'm like, okay, how can I reframe this? How can I see the good in it? How can I allow people to express what it is they're feeling or seeing or thinking, and it be a rejection of me or to me, or it feels like a rejection, and still allow them to have their thought and allow me to have mine. You know, I feel like the art of reframing is something that we all have to really grasp. I have been reframing my separation. I've been reframing living alone and how that actually feels in my heart. And that initially when I moved out of my house with my husband and moved into my own place, there was a sense of fear that happened. There was a lot of fear. And I couldn't unfear myself. So I had to reframe the fear as a way of saying that it's not fear, this is excitement. This is the opposite side of fear is anticipation. So this is anticipation for something new. And it took about 3 months for me to really get into a place where I wasn't feeling as frightened, as alone, as fearful, and feeling as though I could take on the responsibility of myself. And I feel like that is the art of the reframe. You know, how can you take on the responsibility of yourself? I'm going to just reposition myself just a tiny bit. I feel like that's a little bit better. Upon seeing this little video with Kiki Palmer, I just love her. I think she's really great. She's so inspirational. She has such a juicy, vibrational, vivacious energy, and I just love that. And as I have been reframing myself, I've been moving through the things that I want to do for myself that make me feel alive, that make me feel free, alive, happy. And I've been trying to, I hate to say I've been moving towards reframing things that make me feel uncomfortable. I want to say case in point, my car stuff. Like, I don't mind taking my car to the shop and fixing it, but it was something that my husband had taken on, and I loved that. It was something that I did prior to being with him, but he had taken it on. And now I have to reframe that the car is part of what it is that I do for a living. My other, my not Superman job, I need a car to do that. And I have to take care of the car. I have to be conscious of the car's needs and conscious of my needs when it comes to the car, and conscious of the budget that goes along with the car, all that. So it's just reframing that. And I find that this has been quite a wonderful, interesting experience to partake in the reframing, and to just kind of see the thing that somebody's offering you. Perhaps, I'm going to just be honest and say I was going to partner with somebody to do a podcast. They have since decided they don't want to partner with me. And that is, and I love them for that, and it's okay that they have decided that, but I had to reframe that for myself and say that we just had different visions, and we do have different visions of what is going to happen when it comes to a podcast. And I was called by creative spirit to create the Luv Frequency, and I stepped forward and I did that. So there's no regrets in that. There is only just reframing it, so that as the queen of reframe, or the princess of reframe, because Kiki is the queen, I'm going to be a princess because I'm learning. I'm going to reframe the fact that her and I have just had creative differences, and we went different ways. Does that mean our friendship is over? No, it doesn't. It just means that we're not creating a podcast together. And that is completely fine. That's just how it is at this point. And I have to be okay with that. And I am okay with that. My heart is a little broken, and that's okay, but I'm not going to just say that's okay. My heart is broken. That is not okay. But I understand her discord, and I understand my discord, and I understand both sides of the story, and have decided to reframe that we had creative differences and we're going to separate ways. So the art of reframe has come in handy immediately upon seeing that video. It was like, boom, this is what you needed to do. You need to reframe. And I was like, let me reframe this. Creative differences, we're going another way. Okay. And that is what it is. And I feel good with that. I am going to practice. I'm putting this in my toolbox to practice it daily when something comes my way that I'm like, ugh, this is happening, or I'm feeling. I just had a couple of people cancel to see houses. I'm a real estate agent by day and, kick-ass podcaster by night, or whatever. Whatever. So I had people cancel houses, and I said, okay, they canceled houses not because it's me, because they have gifted me the time to create this podcast prior to going to work. And that to me is 100% in the bag. Like, that gives me the freedom to move forward in creating something, and to give me how many more minutes do I have left on my timer to do this podcast of the Art of the Reframe? 4 minutes. That gives me 12 golden minutes, or 10 golden minutes that I would have had to rush and run and been in the car and eating lunch on the go and doing all these things. And it let me be able to sit still, think about what it is that I wanted to create, set up the camera, even though I feel like I'm not really looking directly at the camera, but that's okay. I'll get the hang of it. But set up the camera, set up the microphone, testing, and come forward and do a podcast, because this is what I had decided that I want to do, is podcasts. And I want to do video and I want to do audio, so I can do both. And to be prepared. So I have to get dressed up for work. So I got dressed up and I said, sit down and do 10-minute podcast. So you can do it. No muss, no fuss. Shit is done and we're good. We're moving forward. So, and this is spirit. This is, my last podcast was to be inspired, and like inspired action. And this is part of inspired action, to set up, to hear the voice that says, do what you need to do, to go and do it and be okay with the outcome, and just share the sharing, period. And that's what I've just been really sitting with, the reframing of, I was having a lot of angst is the best word that I can use. I was having a lot of pushback, and there was a lot of resistance to actually sharing any knowledge that I have. In a session with my therapist, aka coach, there's a realization that portion of my being might not be in a true alignment with myself. It might just be a residual effect of being in partnership with someone, and that I can move away from that and forward from that message. And the reframe of that is that I no longer have to take on anybody else's ideas. I can take on my own ideas. And if there's an idea that I do like, that someone has, that makes sense, that's positive, uplifting, and motivational, I can move forward with that, like the Kiki Palmer idea. And to be the queen of reframe. I mean, like the queen of reframe, hello. I mean, I'm just a Princess Kiki. If you see this podcast or you hear this, thank you so much. You are the bomb.com. Because now I'm going to reframe everything, And it can be a little delusional. It can sound delusional, but I don't think so. I really think that it is literally me taking in this this idea of, like, I can look at this differently. And if I look at it differently, then I create this life that I want to see. And that is what we are missing in the big portion of reframing. I keep looking down and I'm like, the big portion of reframing is I got to create the life that I want to see. So I have to basically act as if, or I have to reframe it to make positive the experience that might feel negative. And how can I do that? I can simply sit with myself and say, what is the opposite of this experience? How can I flip this experience to something positive, and then go from there? So, all right, lovelies, I want to challenge you with a little bit of practical magic and say to you that today, daily, or at least once a day, let's say once a day, which is daily, once a day, if you have come across something negative, take a breath, take an inhale and exhale, audible sound of ah. So let's try that right now. We're going to inhale, exhale with the audible sound of ah. Inhale. Ground us back down. And then after the breath, when you're in this situation, I want you to ask yourself, can I be kind instead of right? So one thing. Is there any inspired action that's coming out of this situation, good, bad, or indifferent? 2. And can I reframe this into a positive experience for myself? Somebody doesn't want to be your friend. You've decided to go different ways. You have different belief systems, and you've gone different ways. As Kiki said with the movie, they decided not to have you in a film. Their movie would be great, but it's not going to be as great because they won't have me in it. And that is the reframe. Your friend uninvites you to something. That's okay. That experience was not for me. This has definitely protected me from either discord, injury, or health issues. And that's something that I use all the time. I reframe when people have something and they don't invite me. I'm like, oh. Or I say they just didn't have the budget to cover me in it. And that's okay too. So the art of reframe, the queen of reframe and the princess of reframe, and just reframe your life. Reframe your life to what you want it to be and how you want it to feel and how you want to see it. That is the art of reframe. All right, thank lovelies for joining me. Again, I'm your girl Lola Lovely, and welcome to the Love Frequency. Remember to stay in the Love Frequency. Bye.